Something else that maybe people don't quite realize about you, although I know this got a lot of conversation last season because it was the anniversary, the famous Jerome Lane play at Pitt. You fed on the pass.
That's known as the pass in my house. And I feel like I've said that 100 times, but it keeps me alive. And like you said, anytime one of my players says, "Oh, Coach, did you really play?" I don't have to say anything because that clip tells them everything that they need. You know,
they probably know about that dunk,
they
right?
Respect it. And it's on every year. Inevitably, when Pitt plays Providence, or the anniversary of, or how many years it's been, it's shown every year. And what you forget about the dunk is how different it was then to play on TV, because there wasn't nearly the selection of channels. It was a big Monday game, I believe. Big East had the market cornered for some time. So when that happened truly in front of the nation.
So what to the degree that you can relate, what goes through your mind at that moment when he?
It happened fast. You know, it was a 3-on-1. You know, I think as a point guard, you say which one of these two guys is the better finisher, and Jerome obviously won that. And it was the perfect timing was perfect. You know, and I think Carlton Screen took the charge on him, which I think to this day he probably hasn't lived down. If I get credit for the pass and Jerome gets credit for the dunk, I'm not sure what he gets credit for, you know, taking the charge.
He was called. Was the charge called on the play?
It was an and-one, 3-point play.
Oh, okay.
So after about an hour of the delay, Jerome started it off with shooting a free throw. You know, that's how the game returned. So it was amazing. And Jeff Van Gundy was an assistant. Herb Sendek was an assistant. You know,
is that right?
Looking back on that game, it was just surreal.
The Seth Davis Show, presented by Cadillac, airs every Monday and Friday at 1:30 Eastern on CampusInsiders.com.